Welcome to the Aegis booth here at Productronica. I'm joined by Jason Spira, who's the CEO. Nice to see you again, Jason.
Pleasure to be here, thank you.
Okay. You're obviously very busy, not just with the show, but also with your IPC commitments, which I know you're very excited about. But today I want to talk about Aegis and FactoryLogix. FactoryLogix is obviously your mainstay program for EMS factories. There's been a few improvements to them recently. What can you tell us a little bit about the upgrades?
What we're talking about at the show right now is the 2017.1 release. It's a big incremental upgrade of ours, and it has a lot of different features that are built into it, but a couple of the key ones is its ability to handle our enterprise multi-site, multinational customers in a more powerful way. So what they can now do is the entire richness of the process, product, the quality plan, everything that is core to the process engineering area of FactoryLogix, in a click can be transmitted to a target factory elsewhere that enables them in minutes to apply all that knowledge and configuration to the asset complement of the target factory and begin running at an incredibly fast rate. So what you now have is, as you go from a prototype or a medium volume to the higher volume factories, that daisy chain of data is all basically just transmission from one instance to another. Or you can go single instance, of course, but it does support when you have high secure, defense and aerospace applications where the plants have to be discrete. It supports that through a secure channel.
Right. I was going to ask you that. So that you have to use a secure interface to transfer that information.
You do, but it's a bit of a hybrid cloud, I guess you could call it, where it's much safer because you're not putting the entire data structure in the cloud. You're only transmitting a subset of the data to go to the target on-premise system. So it's a.
Are you using any kind of encryption?
Yeah. Well, the channel it goes through is the 128-bit encrypted channel. So it's good.
Interesting. So I believe you've also upgraded the software within the factory itself, to really optimize the supply chain and the movement of materials, not just through the line, but to the line, down the line, and even into box build.
Oh yeah, well, FactoryLogix was built ground up to handle, to us, electronics is a very core starting point of most of our customers' worlds, where discrete manufacturing is actually most of their build process and electronics is in there. And FactoryLogix fundamentally handles that in an elegant manner. And because of that, our planning engine is evolved in this new version. And our customers came to us and said, the planning is really great. You have this dynamic Gantt chart, and we can see all our assets, and it brings in the real-time status data from our data acquisition feeds to update this whiteboard environment we have. But what about when you have extremely complicated relationships of sub-assembly jobs going into upper levels and one of them stalls? Well, now FactoryLogix actually graphically shows you the cascading effect of that to the overall schedule, which is that's a pretty big improvement. And then also when you get to the floor, our customers are optimizing their factories so much, they're starting to say the mere act of reaching forward to the mouse or the keyboard is too much ergonomic loss. So it goes to show how flexible things are getting. So now we have voice command. So for repetitive functions, you can actually use voice command to just say, index unit, whatever, and the GUI responds. But I thought it was funny when that enhancement went in, because I thought that tells you something about manufacturing, that's becoming a need now.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's incredible. I mean, we're both very heavily invested in this smart factory industry 4.0 journey. But I mean, one big part of it, the line optimization is certainly something that we're all achieving to get lower defects, higher yield, etc. But one of the biggest areas I think that customers are going to be able to, or manufacturers are going to be able to benefit from, is reduced downtime. And I think using this system that you've just described, are you able to produce any numbers yet of how much downtime you can save some of these people?
I wish we had really good numbers on that right now, because you raise an interesting discussion we've been having with customers, is what does optimization mean? And you and I have been around long enough to know that it used to be, I've got to build this motor controller, if I can save a millisecond, that's a big thing for me. That's not really optimization anymore. Line optimization isn't. What it is now is our customers are saying, I need to be able to build a different product every 3 products going down this line. So now it's flexibility is the optimization, and that's what everything we're doing is about. And to get that maximum flexibility, you have to have a connection to everything, from the loading dock to the materials to the machine statuses, the process, everything. Because only then can you actually enable continuous changeover, basically, of the process, the work instructions, and so forth.
Yeah, absolutely. And I believe you've more recently started getting involved in the quality process as well.
Well, we've always done quality collection, test, repair, diagnostics. But what we're now getting involved in, and this is coming out actually rather shortly by Apex, there's a whole other world of quality. There's in-process quality, non-conformance tracking, repair, and so forth, but then there's the quality that happens above that, which in this industry is only now really being talked about. It's the issue of business side quality. And then the connection to incoming quality, which we also support. So you have the loading dock, the quality sampling, the management of all the spec control drawings. We have an entire engine that's connected to our whole warehouse management system that manages incoming quality control. But on the other side, what happens if you have an extremely high cost reliability product, non-conformance is found, that kicks off a huge workflow outside the factory wall in the business offices, and our upcoming systems are actually going to manage that as well.
Yeah, you mentioned goods inward there, controlling everything from goods inward coming in. I mean, one thing I notice when I go into factories is you see reels of components coming in, and they've got multiple labels on them. Why can't we just have one label that follows that reel throughout its life, basically? It makes life so much easier.
I can only do one standard at a time, Trevor. But you're absolutely right. It does require a fix. I mean, it's an unnecessary overhead in the industry. It's also related, I don't know, the issue of the package definitions themselves is another thing. There's a lot of things in the industry, there's potential for improvement, but having said that, what us, Aegis, and others do is, machine vendors as well, is we take all those labels and we have a whole system that kind of helps visually guide the incoming people into consolidating this to a UID, which then that tracks it. And this is not unique to us, it's done by others as well. But if that were a globally agreed thing, where it didn't have to be handled by other host systems, it would be cleaner.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Just an observation, but anyway, it's great to see that you're continuing or having time to continue the development of FactoryLogix with everything else you're doing. And thank you for joining us today, Jason.
Thank you, Trevor. It's my pleasure.